Discord in the description. My friend told me to yell it at you guys. Hey, I heard you suck at driving, but you want to drive knowing everyone in the car isn't anticipating a super accident? Then, divers, stick around and learn how to drive the FRV.
May liberty guide your safe destruction.
Today's video is chosen by Omsent Bias. Don't worry, we will make you a better driver. And just before the video begins, I posted on my community tab a photo of a Lego character. Wrong characters only, and here are some of the funny responses I got. V2 Snail. It's clearly BT from Titanfall 2. And Dr. Roblochnik. That's a great one. So, we're gonna take a look at some of the things this car has. It's a 5-seater, 1 driver's seat, 3 passengers, and 1 machine gunner. As of now, we have these lights right here. Great for, lighting. Light pen can pop the tires, but it doesn't really affect too much sides of the armor, except for probably these doors. So, let's dig in a bit more. So, my driving Prius rookies, we are gonna settle some ground rules about the FRV. Number 1, the person who calls the car, drives the car. The only times you can drive the car is when it's in extreme situations or you're directed to by the person who owns it. Touching things that might not belong to you may lead to your head getting blown off. And number 2, car accidents. So with those rules out of the way, we will train out the murderous BMW driving habits of these divers. First thing we will do is call down the car. We need to find a nice place to call it, as it can be annoying if the car gets called down and breaks. Oops, looks like your insurance pulled out before your accident came in, so that's coming out of your super credits and rec slips. So, step into the driver's seat. The driver's seat. No, that's the machine gun. The driver's seat. Get in the fucking driver! So, now that you're done being a disappointment, you will see that we got a few things on this car. We have neutral, reverse, drive, 1 and 2. So, we got neutral, which will just let your car roll. We have reverse, and it will, reverse the car. Drive will give you enough power to run back 400 meters to get your super samples because you crashed the car. 1 is the highest number you can count to, and 2 is the number I can count to. Really, 1 is to go a slower speed, and 2 is to maintain a faster speed. And drive will give you more torque. Now that you understand the gear systems, you think we'll be getting into driving. I'm ready. Whoa, don't get ahead of yourself. I can barely trust you to ride your Razor scooter. Also, a good tip to know is that you will spin your car out really quickly if you go from 0 to 100. Anyone with keyboard will understand what I mean, and the roller players get a better control. There's something we need to know about driving this car, and it's actually more about where we're driving it. So we need to look at the landscape. Notice anything about this landscape? It's littered with disgusting bugs. But we can also keep in mind how much rocks there are. When it comes to driving the car, you can't just speed on this terrain. It's not a fucking racetrack. There's no asphalt here. You speed and hit that one rock and boom, there goes the whole squad and everybody respawns looking at you. So to avoid having to play the rest of the game by yourself, shift the car into gear 1 to crawl over the terrain. It's safe to shift to 2 when you hit a flat or a nice opening area without rocks. So now we'll look at the maps that I would bring the car on and what maps I wouldn't. Open deserts, S tier. Will save you a lot of time on these big maps, so it'll get you point A to point B, no problem. Good for speeding. Rocky terrain, all you have to do is watch out for the rocks and any of those craters and you'll do just fine. I do not recommend speeding here. Forest and swamp-like areas are going to be the worst. If you chose to bring the car here, you're a fucking psycho. Ice planets that are icy will suck your ass because this car has no grip and the rocky snow planets will work better. And then there's planets that have fog. I'm just saying, if you drive in the fog and you go over the speed limit, I'm telling you, you're gonna hit something eventually. Oh shit, it's a child! Ah! So, we're gonna look at how it fares against the factions. Against the bugs, this is great for running laps around the enemies. Because, you know what? Their little legs can only run so fast. As long as you don't crash, you'll be fine. And don't challenge the charger at a head-on. You're not winning it. Against the bots, you just gotta be a bit more conscious about where they're aiming, especially base turrets, because if they see you in the distance, they will blast the fuck out of your car. And if you get your tires popped, it will be like driving like Diddy spilled oil on the road. And against the Illuminate, the only thing you need to look out for are grenades and the harvester lasers, because I don't think there's too many other things I can make that thing go. Against the mission difficulties, I think you could take this car respectively onto level 10, as long as you're careful about where you're driving it. And another thing to bring back up, I said it as a joke earlier, but I really do mean it. Keyboard players are gonna steer this car like ass. Controller players, at least you can kinda ease your turn. We don't get a choice in how much pressure we put down on D. But divers, I hope you enjoyed the video. Now go forth and show them that you know how to drive, with liberty in mind. And remember guys, only use your blinkers when the automatons aren't around. Never let them know what you're doing next.